friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria, and today we're going to be doing a New Year book tag. I saw Larry from Larry Reads do this, and then I saw Jess from Peace Love Books do this, and it just looked like a fun thing, and it was a bunch of questions that I was going to do a video for anyway. So I figured doing the tag was a good way to go. I've been getting back into like watching booktube. I had a fun time watching it, so I hope you guys do too. I did forget to charge my battery after I filmed yesterday, so we're gonna do this speedy quick because I don't have a backup battery and I don't want my battery to die. Okay, so I took a screenshot. So I watched the video, so I like 2 videos about it last night, so I know the questions, but I didn't like prep anything for myself. So we're just gonna go right into it. Didn't know if I was gonna film today. So there are 18 questions, and the first one is how many books are you planning on reading in 2025, so your reading goal. I set my reading goal at 150. That is so much less than I have read since I got back into reading in 2019. Since 2020, I've read over 300 books. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, over 300 books. And then last year, 2024, is where things took a turn. I was so much busier last year. I started working full-time. I had been doing more things for work and less things that I am able to like read during, because I used to, when I was working part-time, I used to be able to listen to audiobooks while at work, and now a lot of times I'm not able to do that as much. So I have a lot less time for reading. My health has been on a bit of a decline also, so I'm exhausted. So I haven't had time for reading that way. I've been in a little bit of a reading slump on and off. I had more reading slumps than usual in 2024. So I only read 212, I think, books into 2024. And I say only, like that's so few. 200 books is a lot of books, and it's still so far above what the average person reads. I am setting it at 150. I want to make sure I hit it. I didn't want to like do a stretch goal or anything. I just wanted to make sure I hit it. I am one of those people that it weirdly impacts me if I don't hit it. I get really stressed out about it. So I wanted to make sure that I hit it. And if I like want to adjust it later on and like raise it to 175 or whatever, then I'll do that. But also my reading journal that I'm using for this year, I really want to like get back into journaling. It only has 150 spaces in it, so I figured 150. Good number. All right, number 2 is a book you're likely to reread this year. Okay, you guys know me. You know I love a reread. I reread all the time. I've actually only read like 4 books in January so far, and 2 of them have been rereads. Actually 3 of them of the 5 books that I've read, because I just finished a reread. So I've read 5 books this year, 3 have been rereads. You know, it's just a thing that I do. But the one that I would have said for this was Iron Flame and Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, because I always reread big fantasy books because they take so much time in between the 2 of them, and my memory is not what it used to be. So there were full characters in Iron Flame that I completely forgot existed. So I'm very glad that I did that. But another book that's just like one that I want to do for fun is actually right behind me, and it is God of Fury. I loved the Legacy of God series when I read it in 2023. I read it at the end of 2023, and God of Fury ended up on my top books of 2023 list, and I haven't reread it since, and it's just been calling to me recently, so I will probably reread God of Fury this year. I will probably be doing my yearly reread of House of Earth and Blood. It's one of my favorite books in the world, and I've reread it like 7 times, so I will probably do that this year. So constant rereads. I will probably reread Him and Us. I do that pretty much every year also. So I like a reread. It's comforting, you know? It helps with my anxiety. I know what's gonna happen. All right, number 3 is a priority read on your 2025 TBR. I normally make like 25 books to read in 2025. I didn't do that this year. I didn't do as much planning as I normally do. I was very busy in December and the beginning of January. A bunch of my authors were releasing. It was just a lot. So I did not prep as much as I normally do, and I didn't make that. Plus, I had a 24 books to read in 2024, and guess how many friggin' books on that list I read? Oh wait, 0. 0. So I didn't do that this year. But I do like, I can't think of one off the top of my head that's like a priority read. I don't think that there's anything. I would really like to read more of the books that I own, especially books that I own physically. I am a 100% digital reader and mostly audiobook reader, so I only buy physical books when I've already read them. But every once in a while, I'm like, I want to feel like buying something today and they don't have something that I've already read that I don't own yet. So I'll buy something that like looks interesting or that the cover's really beautiful or something. So I have 2 sections of a shelf in my bedroom that have unread books on them. I actually just went through and culled my whole shelves, and I got rid of like 3 bags of books, or I already got rid of one of the bags because they were all historicals. I donated them to a used historical bookstore. But I have 2 full bags of other books that I'm getting rid of. And the ones that I kept on my shelves that I haven't read yet, those are priorities. All right, an author you won't be reading more books from this year. I try to stay away from like super negative things on my channel, but an author who I think, I'm not gonna say never, I'm very bad with like, I will never read this, but ones that I used to like and then have consistently recent releases been like constant 3 stars. An author who comes to mind for this is Lucy Score. I really loved 2 of her books, 3 of her books, and the rest of them have just like not hit as much as those 2. So I really just don't think that she's going to be a favorite author for me. I think that it's just like those 2 outliers that I happen to like and the rest of them. So I don't plan on picking up any more of her books. I do own, I think, 1 that I left on my shelf that I'm just like, maybe I'll read it. But for the most part, I don't think that I will be picking anything up more from her. And I really want to limit my Megan Quinn. I love old school Megan Quinn. I love Boss Man Bridegroom. I love The Secret to Dating My Best Friend's Sister. I love See Me After Class. You know, those like old school, before she was ever traditionally published Megan Quinn books. I did like A Not So Meet Cute. I did like some of her hockey series, Vancouver Agitators, that's a hard word, series. But recently, I have consistently been giving her books 3 stars, and that's just like not what I want to read. That's not what I want to spend my time with. So I'm going to be a lot more selective when it comes to like reading her books. But I'm not going to say never. Then something new you want to read. So I don't do new genres. I don't want to go into a new genre. I'm sticking with my romance. I love my romance books. I would like to read more fantasy romances this year. I love a fantasy romance, but they're rarely that I pick them up. So I would love to read more fantasy romance. And I would also love to read more dark romance. I read the occasional dark romance, but when I am in the mood for dark romance and I get sucked in and I'm in that energy, I love dark romances. Like the Legacy of God series. When I read that series, I was like, this is the day. This is the moment where I want to read dark romance. And I read that whole series in like a week and I was obsessed with it. So I really, really want to find those dark, grittier series and love them. So that's like my goal, my hope, and to not be like afraid of them. Number 6 is a popular book that you want to read. I can't think of one off the top, like immediately, that comes to mind of like a book that's already out. I have a lot of new releases that are like on my lists, but I haven't made like a backlist titles list I want to read. In the realm of dark romance, I still haven't read Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, and I would really love to get to that one, so I might say that one. I own the physical book and the audiobook, and it's signed by Jennifer Hartman. I've met Jennifer Hartman, but I've still never picked up any of her books, so I really do want to pick up Still Beating. Most anticipated 2025 book release. I have so many. I normally do a anticipated releases video, but because of my like situation of being gone for 3 weeks, I wasn't able to do like my end of year content like I normally do. So I didn't make that list. I do have a little bit in my journal of like written down. Some of the ones that come to my mind are obviously Onyx Storm. Very excited about that. Comes out very, very soon when I'm filming this video. It honestly might already be out by the time I post this video. But I can't think of anything. I can't think of a new release. So I think I'm just gonna go with Onyx Storm. I know that's super boring, but I think that's what I'm gonna go with. I really can't think of anything off the top of my head that I really, really want to read. Obviously, anything by Laura Pavlov, anything by Catherine Cowles, like immediate releases. Oh, actually one that I just thought of looking at my shelves is Carla Sorenson's new book. I don't remember what it's called, but it is the last book in the Wilder series, and it's her tying into the Ward Sisters series because the heroine in it is the daughter from Forbidden from the Ward Sisters series, and Forbidden is one of my favorite books of all time, so I definitely am very excited for that one. So number 8 is a bookish goal for 2025. I always make goals lists. I have a whole list in my like main notebook, not even my reading notebook. But one specifically for bookish that I say every single year, and I got really, really close last year. I fell off there like towards the last third of the year. But for the first 2/3 of the year, I was doing such a good job, and that is writing at least 1 sentence review for every book that I read and posting them to Goodreads and Amazon. Or the ones that I love to Amazon. They're so helpful for authors, and now especially that I work with authors and in an author space, in a bookish space, I know how important they are even more. So I really, really want to be doing that because I read mostly indie authors, so I would really, really like to help them out in that way. Number 9 is a book that's been on your TBR you probably won't ever read. Like I said before, I'm really bad with like never. I won't ever read it. But one that I've really, really been thinking about lately that I don't think I'm going to read ever, that I'm gonna take off my TBR, I'm not interested in. I just don't think I'll like it. I already know, like Magnolia Parks is not the one that I'm going to talk about because I already know that that was never on my TBR. I don't think I'm going to like it. But one that was on my TBR and I recently was like, I really actually don't think I'm going to like that, is actually Binding 13. That Boys of Tommen series. I don't think I'm going to like them. That isn't my kind of energy. I don't love those like deeply just traumatic type of ones. It doesn't sound, the only thing about it that sounds interesting to me is the fact that it's he plays rugby, and that is just not enough to make me want to sit through those very, very long books, so I really don't think I'm gonna ever read those. Number 10 is a series you want to read this year. This one, actually going back to Rena Kent, I loved the Legacy of God series, but I've never read anything else by Rena Kent, and I really want to read their Parents series because Legacy of Gods is actually a 2nd gen. So I'm thinking like the Royal Elite series, I think, is the like start of the Rena Kent universe. So I think I'm going to try and read the Royal Elite series this year. Number 11 is your auto by authors going into 2025. They have not really changed. I mean, I already said read anything by Laura Pavlov, read anything by Catherine Cowles, Sarah J. Maas, obviously. Another one is Hannah Bonham Young. I love every book that I've read by Hannah Bonham Young, and so she is definitely on that list. So I think that those are like the main ones. I can't think of anyone else. Amy Dawes also. Lauren Rowe. Lauren Rowe has a bunch of releases coming in 2025. She is an auto by author. I've loved her. I've read her whole backlist, so she's definitely one. Number 12 is a book to show adaptation you're excited about this year. Okay, I don't know when this video is going up, but I don't know if you've ever seen it. I don't think it was actually ever a book, but it's based off of a movie that was based off of a book, if that makes sense, which is Exo Kitty. The 2nd season of Exo Kitty comes out in January, and I'm really, really excited about it. The Exo Kitty is about Kitty, who is the sister of Laura Jean from To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So To All the Boys I Loved Before was a book series, and then Kitty is like a spin-off of that. I don't know if it was ever actually a book originally, but I'm really excited about that. I have been loving just like any stupid passion flicks movie. I love those like random romance Wattpad movies. I had a really, really fun time watching The Quarterback and Me, I think is what it's called, or like Culpa Mia, or any of those, like Lick by Kylie Scott. I loved that movie. So I really just like any romance movie. I will not watch the Colleen Hoover movies. not interested. I know Verity is supposed to be coming out. I have zero interest. I know that like Daisy Jones and the Six, I've never watched that. I know that like I think The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is coming out, so then that slightly interests me. Oh, I don't know if it's coming out this year. I doubt it. But the Elle Kennedy TV show, the Off-Campus series is becoming a TV show. 100% I will be watching that, and I am so excited about it. Also Twisted, the Twisted series by Anna Huang just got picked up. I saw that by Netflix, so I'm really excited about that. So those are a couple. Number 13 is a sequel you're anticipating, and this one immediately caught up by Nevessa Allen. I loved Lights Out in 2024. Obsessed with that. I actually read it twice in 2024, and I am so excited for Caught Up. Already have it pre-ordered. Very excited for that one. Number 14 is a bookish thing you're leaving in 2024. Judgment. I am so completely sick of being judged for reading romance. I am so completely sick of being judged for how many books that we read a year. Like, people need to stop. Why is it so socially acceptable to watch every single football game ever but not read 100 books in a year? That's so stupid. It makes me so mad. And I used to be very polite, or like direct but informative and just like more on the polite side, and now I'm done with that. If somebody, especially in real life, if somebody talks to me about that shit, no, fuck you, we're done. Like, sorry, not sorry. I cannot handle it anymore. I'm so freaking mad about it, especially considering that romance is the #1 best-selling genre in the world. Fuck off. So done. Number 15 is what to expect from this account. Who the fuck knows? Honestly, you guys, those who stay subscribed to me and who watch all my videos, like, you guys are amazing, because I am the most inconsistent person in the world. I am so bad about being consistent. There have been years that I have done a really good job. Like 2023, I think, was like my year. That one, I think I did a video so consistently. But since the start of my channel, I have not been consistent. I really hope that I can do 1 video a week this year. That is my plan. I have worked the time into my work schedule, like my monthly hours work schedule. I have allotted hours for YouTube and content creation specifically because it is something that I love doing when I do get the chance, and that I really want to put like more time in, because I used to absolutely love planning videos and coming up with ideas, and it was so fun. And so I really do want to do it again and go back to doing it that way, because I freaking loved it. So I'm hoping that I can do 1 video a week. I would love to do more vlogs. I have always been afraid of them because I talk a lot. You guys know my videos are always long. I am so impressed by creators who can concisely say their thoughts. It's never been me. I am a chatterbox. I talk so much. And so my vlogs, when I do make vlogs, they end up being like an hour long. So I'm gonna just post them. I don't care. I watch hour-long vlogs from other creators, so if people are gonna watch them, go ahead. If not, I had a fun time making them. So I really do want to do vlogs. Also, they're easier for me to film during like my work day because I can do them. I don't have to like super set aside time for them. I can just like pop in and out. I'm thinking of possibly doing like wrap-ups that way, like pop in when I finish some books and just like film a clip and then putting them all together at the end of the month. So if that's something that you'd be okay with, let me know. When it comes to like Instagram, I always say I really want to post more often on there. I am so bad about it, but because I work for 6 clients, I run 4 Instagram accounts for clients. And then trying to do my own on top of that, it's just like all my creative energy goes to those clients' accounts. So I'm posting daily for multiple clients, and it's just like my creative well runs out when it comes to my own Instagram content. So I really do want to get better at it. I really want to try and do it. So I'm hoping that I can do that more, but honestly, not going to promise anything. I want to be more in my stories on Instagram, again, with the like popping in with my thoughts and like video stories. I think I've always just like felt like I've looked so awkward on stories. I feel like with YouTube, I'm much more comfortable with it. I've done it for so long, but like I said, I talk so much that like on Instagram, I feel like it's like multiple stories and nobody cares, and like I feel like I sound so awkward because I can't edit it. So I'm gonna try and just like be more confident and more comfortable with like my own personality and like bringing that into Instagram stories, because I love watching stories from some of my favorite creators. I love watching like what they're doing, what they're up to, what they're reading, what they're doing with their job and their life. I just love watching that. So I'm gonna try and do that for myself and just like be comfortable with it. And honestly, the only way I'm gonna get comfortable is by actually doing it. So I'm just gonna try my best to actually do that. Number 16 is, how has your reading taste evolved from last year? It hasn't really. Romance. That's about it. That's all I got. If a book does not have any romance in it, I'm not reading it. And I'm not sorry for that. It has to. And honestly, it's other forms of media as well. Movies and TV shows. I don't super get invested to them unless there's a romance involved. I don't care. I cannot think of a single movie that I have watched that I have enjoyed truly that didn't have a romance in it. So it's just something that I have to connect to in that content. So I am gonna continue with reading romance. I'm only going to read romance, and that's it. And it's been that way since 2021-ish. Before that, it was there before that. I was just kidding myself. Number 17 is booktube creators who inspire you. I love this question. I have so many. Like I said, have not had the chance to watch booktube in the last couple of months. So I have like a backlog of videos that I want to watch, and I spent hours watching it yesterday. And I know that Jess from Peace Love Books, who I do very much admire, she always has her iPad next to her with booktube on it while she's working, so I'm really gonna try and do that. I usually have music on, but I'm gonna really try and do like booktube instead and like switch it up sometimes, because I do really love watching my favorite creators. First, Christy from Christy Reads a Lot. She makes such fabulous content, and she is one of those people who can be so concise about her thoughts and make it sound so perfect in such a short couple of sentences, to the point where like you give enough about the books without spoiling it, but enough that I want to go read it, and with her thoughts without going on and on. Like, I think that's fabulous, and I'm very, very impressed and jealous of the fact that she can do that. I also just like really love how consistent she is with her content. It's so fun to watch. I always know what I'm getting from her. Avery is another person, Ava's Romance Books, who does that same thing. She makes so much content and is so consistent with it, and I always know what to expect when I am watching Avery's videos, and they're so good. Her recommendations are wonderful, and there are people that I like constantly watch. Tori and Jess also constantly watched, and like they're friends, and I very much enjoy their content. One person that I am going to say who's technically on booktube but is actually an author who I've been watching since before she was an author is Kate's Book Date. She is an author who goes by Katie Wismer, and I love her content. I don't know why, but it's like always something that I have loved watching. I think the like background process of being an author is so interesting, and I have been watching her for years, since I like first started watching booktube, or since I was like a big YouTube person. So since YouTube, she was probably one of the first booktube people that I ever watched, and it was because I loved the background process. I also just think, as somebody who works with authors, how fascinating it is and how like transparent she is with her numbers and her marketing and her income and everything. I think it's so, so cool with being an author and also a content creator, and like I just love watching her content. I think it's also very like calming and like low anxiety for me to just like have her on, and her vlogs are like so quick and short, and I just like have a good time with them. So yeah, those are some people that I love watching who I think are fabulous. Number 18 is something you want to say to anyone wanting to start a bookish account. Sorry, I just dropped my phone. I sort of said it earlier when I was talking about like my own Instagram and wanting to do it, but that like you are not going to get comfortable doing it unless you actually do it. People always ask me and are like, oh, I want to start a booktube channel. Like, how do I get good at it, there is no good at it. You just do it. You are never going to be comfortable talking to a camera until you start talking to a camera. And I was honestly just vlogging yesterday, and I was talking to my camera and like talking to them like they're my friends, because you are. Like, I love the way that I can chat to you and know that like this is a safe space. And also that like I feel like I can have a conversation even though it's just me talking, because I know that you guys will come in the comments or like in my DMs on Instagram or something, and I have such a fun time talking with people. So I do want to try and get better about being within the actual community of YouTube, because again, the community of like the book community on Instagram and YouTube, just because I do pop in and out sometimes with like my consistency. Sorry, my cat just fell over. But if you want to start a booktube channel, do it. Just start. You will be so awkward in the beginning, but everyone's awkward in the beginning and people don't care. We will watch you. So pop on in. So if you want to start a booktube channel, if you want to start a book Instagram, if you want to just start making content, just freaking do it. So that is all the questions. That was 18. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it answered some of your questions. Head down into the comments and let me know of anything else that you would like me to talk about, anything else that you would like to see from me this year. Thank you so much to Larry from Larry Reads for creating this tag. I will link her original video in the description and her channel. She's fabulous. If you don't know who she is, why? She's huge and I love her. I love her content. She's so hilarious. So that is gonna be it for this video. So like it if you liked it, subscribe, stick around, see more content from me, and I hope you have the absolute best day. Bye.